Well, good afternoon. It's an honor to be here today. Actually, I've been in Bowling Green for a number of years. I went to college here back in the 70s and had a great experience where the field house is, where we had breakfast this morning. I was in that field one night, late at night, as college students do, and their passion and their dream and talking about, what can I do to make a difference? And I was yelling at the sky, I want to change the world. So here we are talking about that. I realized back then that if I wanted to change the world, I needed to start with myself, so I spent the last 40 years working on that. Now we're going to go to the next step. My talk today is about charity has not ended poverty, opportunity will. Is that a controversial statement? We hope so. Well, then we need to work on something called, how do we make a transition from charity to opportunity? How can we go from being a society where we go just to help people and try to give them something to actually empower them to make a difference in their own lives and put that in their plan right up front? And those are the things, that's some of the things that passions me, that's my passions about, and that's what I'm working on. If you type into Google right now, I did this yesterday, if you type into Google, the problem with charity, you'll get 117 million hits in 17 seconds. I didn't read them all. But I read a couple of them, and it is amazing when you find out that there's a problem with charity. And we need to think about that. How can we actually do something to make a difference? Africa reports that in Africa alone, when charity goes up, their GNP goes down. When the charity goes down, the African GNP goes up. So there's an economy that we're creating behind the economy that we have to pay attention to. So let's look at some of the passions that we have. We look at people like this, a lot of times we say, well, these people are a problem. And our talk today is about, really, are they the problem or are they the solution? Are they part of the solution? Imagine if one of your family members was in a country like that, what you would do to try to help them. You wouldn't just go to try to give them something. You'd go to try to create an environment where they could create a society so that their generation, their children's generation, the generation after that would be able to make a difference. You'd want to try to change something to bring opportunity and peace to the land. Do you know that I call this the global emerging middle class? There's a global emerging middle class, and we're going to talk about that just a little bit here. What we see here on this slide is 1%. 1% of the people on the earth make over $108,000 a year. Isn't that an amazing number? There's a list out there called the Global Rich List. You can check out on there how you fare in the world. A lot of data in there. If you're in this next list, if you're in the top 5% of people on the earth, the top 5% of people on the earth make over $35,000 a year. So we've talked a lot today about different technologies and changes and things, but most of the time we're talking about 5% of people on the earth. 5% of people on the earth make over $35,000 a year. If you're in the top 12%, you're in a group that makes around $22,000 a year. This next group, the top 22%, it's about the difference between $5,000 and $20,000 a year. Top 22%. This is an interesting group. The top 46% of people on the planet, guess what their income is? Between $500 and $3,000 a year. Isn't that powerful when you think about that, when you know this? The last group, the last 15% on the planet, between $0 and $500 a year. Isn't that an amazing number? So, where does that take us? 68% of the world's population makes between $500 and $20,000 a year. 68% of the world's population. Do you know that that 95% of everything that's marketed in the world is marketed to 5% of people on the planet? That's not that we don't sell to the rest of the planet, but we only market to about 5% of the planet. So what if we turn that around? What if we started thinking about the rest of the planet? Is there an opportunity here? Is there a business opportunity? And is there an opportunity to really change the lives of people? So let's look at this graph right here. The front graph, the green graph, is the graph of where the world is right now. And that peak in the middle represents 68% of the world's population on either side of that. The graph all the way to the end is where the 108,000 is. The graph all the way to the other end is 0. So 68% of the world's population, the global middle class we're calling, makes between $500,000 and $20,000 a year. 68% of the world's population. Around 4.5 billion people. About 4.5 billion people. If you go on the internet right now and you look at the population of the earth, we're somewhere between 6.5 billion and 6.9 billion people on our way to 10 billion. That's an amazing thing to think about, that we're on our way to 10 billion people. This next graph is interesting, the significant global development. Okay, what are some significant things that are happening? We've talked a lot about technology. There's a group out there right now called the Last 3 Billion. You know what they're trying to do? Their goal is to get a cell phone in the hands of everybody on the earth. The last 3 billion to get a cell phone in the hands of everybody on the earth. Now, why a cell phone? Well, a cell phone has some phenomenal powers. For example, there's a farmer in India who grows produce, and over 50% of his produce rots without him being able to get to market. Some people say 60%, because he has one vendor who maybe gets a hold of him, maybe comes by with a truck when his produce is ready, maybe doesn't. If he gets a cell phone, he can now sell 30 to 40% more of his produce, completely changing his life. It changes communication for him. His life will change with a cell phone. Now, there's problems with cell phones. One of them is you got to charge them. You know that 1.6 billion people on the earth live without electricity? 1.6 billion. About 2.5 billion people have electricity less than 20% of their day. So what are they going to do? They got a cell phone, but can they charge it? I was in India. I was 50 miles away from the end of a power line, at least 50 miles, and I'd forgotten to turn my BlackBerry off, and it dinged. And I went, what could that be? I got an email. I was 50 miles away from the end of a power line, and I got an email. This was about 5, 6 years ago. I said to myself, there's a change coming. There's something happening. These people that don't have electricity have a cell phone. So what can we do? Right next to the cell phone, you can see the little orange thing. That's a solar-powered light. So we can take a solar-powered light, take it to the ends of the earth, and we can charge a cell phone there. That's a powerful tool in the hands of people that can change their lives. You know that 2.5 billion people live without light. They use something like this called a kerosene lantern. A little wick. This is the wick from a kerosene lantern. Smoke, problems with their kids, their eyes, hard to read by, expensive. You can change that. So we have this global emerging middle class. We have people that now can have cell phones, now can have electricity, can charge things, can read at night, can learn. What happens is when this global middle class starts to move forward, they're going to create societies and cultures. Like we all do, we're going to have some disposable income that we're going to be able to spend and use. Now, the problem is we haven't distributed to that global middle class. We have to work on something called what I call the quadruple bottom line. We have to have an economic, we have to have a social, environmental, we have to have a spiritual component. We have to bring peace and opportunity to the people we're trying to help. So these people here, they're not the problem. They can be the solution. They're like any one of us. If we were in a culture like that, we wouldn't want a handout. We would want some help. Like if we have you people here, we have an opportunity. We have education. We have talents. We have a place to develop our talents. Well, those people, they want the same thing. They want us to see them as a person, not just as a picture, not just as a statistic. So I want to give you an opportunity to just watch a 1-minute video here, and I think you'll like this. And it's called I Dare You.
I dare you to look at me and see only a statistic. Someone you'll never meet. A tragedy. A commodity. A child bride. I dare you to look at me without pity, fatigue, dismissal. I dare you to look at me as more than a poster for your cause. A promise you won't keep. I dare you to look at me and see I am the answer. I dare you to rethink what it means to look at a girl, not a burden, not an object, but the answer.
I dare you. I dared myself. So a couple years ago, I traveled the planet. I've been to about 60 countries now. I've visited the places we wanted to help. I saw the situation firsthand. I said we need to build a distribution channel that's duplicatable and transferable to empower the people at the ends of the earth. So in the last year, we've started businesses in 3 continents. We have the potential of hiring about 5,000 employees just in the next year coming up, employing about 5,000 people. I gave a presentation at this university about 6 months ago. One of the people in the room says, I was raised with a kerosene lamp. I know exactly what you're talking about. We've now started a business in Kenya using his help and the help of some of the students here. There's an amazing force and power that wants to be released to help this. There's people believing that sustainability is the answer, not charity. We're looking forward to moving forward in this, and our challenge to you is I dare you to not just look at charity, but to partner with charity, to partner with government, to partner with business, to partner with those people that are out there. And let's go together and let's go make a difference. I dare you.